What's up YouTube, welcome back to another video on my channel Skotrix, and today as you can see we are back not on NBA 2K25 but on this screen where I'm going to be ranking all of the best shooting badges in NBA 2K25 current gen. Now I know all these badges look different but that doesn't mean anything, I just had to get them from different sources or whatever, so don't worry about that. And also I'm going to be ranking these and kind of giving a breakdown of how they're good and what type of build they're good for, so whether they're good for like a spot up big man or a guard that's going to be the primary ball handler. I'll kind of give a quick breakdown of why I'm putting each badge in each spot, but I don't want to make the video too long, so let's get into it here. First off, we're starting with Claymore. I'm going to put Claymore into the elite category, and also I'm going to try to put 4 badges into each category since we have 16 total. They fit nicely. So Claymore goes into the elite category. I think it's a great badge if you're a big man or an off-ball player at all who just spots up and lets your guard work. Then I think Claymore is super good for you, probably the best badge you can get. But if you're a guard who is the primary ball handler or you're setting a lot of screens, it's not so good. So it's really like a super good badge for some builds and not so helpful for some other builds, but I put in the S category. Next up we have Clutch Shooter, and I'm putting Clutch Shooter into the decent category right here. I think it really is just a decent badge. It's not something that you're really going to need. It's completely ineffective for like 90% of the game, and when it is effective, it's only effective if it's a close game, and if you're shooting well earlier in the game, you know, if you use your badge points into something else, maybe it wouldn't be a close game in the first place. So I don't think Clutch Shooter is that great of a badge, not something that I would recommend getting there. But next we have Guard Up. I put Guard Up into the great category. I think it's a good badge, especially it works for pretty much any build. If you can get it for not too many badge points, I think it is pretty good to get. Next up right here we have Corner Specialist, and I'm going to put Corner Specialist also into the great category. I think it's just a good badge if you work a lot out of the corner. Definitely a badge that you're going to want to get no matter how much it costs. Probably one of the most, if not the most important badge for corner sitter builds, along with like Claymore and catch and shoot and stuff. So yeah, next up we have Guard Up, and I'm realizing now that I did Guard Up for Comeback Kid, so just put Comeback Kid into the decent category. Same reason pretty much as Clutch Shooter. It's not that great for most builds, and Guard Up I already explained why I'm putting it into great. But yeah, Comeback Kid pretty much the same as Clutch Shooter, probably something that you're not going to need. Next up we have Midi Magician. I put this into the good category. Decent badge, mostly if you're a primary ball handler. It's a decent badge, but it's not too important, not something that I would prioritize over some other badges. So if you have enough to get it, go ahead, but it's not that great. Next up we have Slippery Off Ball. Not really a badge that you're going to need. It's good if you're like a slasher and you want to get to the rim to get some alley-oops or whatever, but it's really not too important for most builds to have. It's just sort of a wasted badge. There's so many better things that you could put your badges into. Just don't even bother messing with Slippery Off Ball. Next up we have Volume Shooter. I put Volume Shooter into the good category. You should know if you need this badge. If you're shooting like almost every shot for your team, then maybe you can consider it. Otherwise I wouldn't bother. Next up we have Amped right here, and I'm going to put Amped into the decent category as well. This one really could go between decent and good. The reason I put it into decent is because I just don't think it's too important. Like, you're not going to be shooting with low stamina too much, especially if you're not the primary ball handler. You pretty much never will be, and even if you are the primary ball handler, you don't want to shoot with dead empty stamina anyways usually. I mean, it's just not a great badge. So next up we have Clutch Shooter, Catch and Shoot right here. I'm putting Catch and Shoot into the elite category badge. I mean, no matter how much it costs, it's really a very good badge for you if you are a player that primary catches and shoots. Next up we have Green Machine. I'm putting Green Machine into the good category. It's a good badge, it's not great. You don't really need it. I mean, if you're hitting enough greens to activate it, then you already know your shot. You don't need it to continue to hit greens. You'll usually just continue to hit them based off of your skill. So yeah, I don't really recommend Green Machine too much. Next up we have Space Creator. I also put Space Creator into the good category right here. It's a good badge, not great. Good for ball handlers if you want to do that type of stuff, if you're like a shot creator or whatever, and if you have like the ankle breaking shots, takeover or something, maybe you get this badge up as high as possible so you can try to take some ankles or whatever. But now we have Agent 3. I put Agent 3 into the elite category. It costs a lot, but it is a very good badge, so I had to put it up into the elite category. Now we have, and it's also good for pretty much any build, but now Blinders, and I put Blinders into the great category. It's a solid badge, but it's maybe not as good for builds that it costs a lot for, like if it's a tier 3 badge or whatever. Probably not something that you need to invest in. Now we have Deadeye, and I put Deadeye into the great category as well for pretty much the same reason as Blinders and Guard Up. It's a solid badge, really a pretty good badge, but you don't really need it for most builds considering the cost that it has. So I put it into the great category because it is a good badge. It's a really good badge. badge, but it usually costs more than it's worth, so I couldn't put it into the elite category. But next up we have limitless range. I'm putting this into the elite category. Obviously it extends your range, super important, not too much explanation needed for that. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, let me know in the comments what you agree or disagree with and what you would change. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure you like and subscribe. That's gonna be it. All right, peace.